Good day, everyone. Our lesson for this week is social responsibility and ethics. This is the lesson 6 of our subject, and this will be the last lesson included in our midterms examination. So this lesson will discuss about the social responsibility of an organization and ethical behavior. It also discuss about the four views of ethics and how managers can improve ethical behavior in an organization. So basically this lesson will really be tackling about the social responsibility of the organization and ethical behavior and how the managers can improve ethical behavior in an organization. So what is social responsibility? The classical view states that management's only social responsibility is to maximize profit or create a financial return by operating the business in the best interest of the stockholders or owners of the corporation. So basically, in the classical view, the management's only social responsibility is to maximize profit. So yung pagkakaroon lang ng malaking kita sa organization, yun lang yung tingin ng classical view. When we say classical view, it is the primitive view or yung dating panahon. Yun yung view ng management nung dating panahon. So, expending the firm's resources on doing social good unjustifiably increases costs that lower profits to the owners and raises prices to consumers. So sa tingin nila dati, ng management dati, when we do good or when we give social responsibility or share our social responsibility to others, gastos lang daw. So that's the view of management of the previous management in social regarding social responsibility. Whereas the socio-economic view states that management's social responsibility goes beyond making profits to include protecting and improving society's welfare. So corporations are not independent entities responsible only to stockholders, and firms have a moral responsibility to larger society to become involved in social, legal, and political issues and to do the right thing. So in the socio-economic view, management's view now to social responsibility is going beyond making profit. So, importante pa rin naman syempre ang kumita. Pero they already include now protecting and improving the society's welfare. So, yung tingin ng management, the corporation is not independent entity responsible only to stockholders. So when we say stockholders, they are the owners of the stocks of the corporation. So in the socio-economic view, the focus now of management is uh, hindi separate or independent ang corporation sa stockholders lang. So they already include now yung mga social enterprises or yung mga communities na nagapalibot rin sa kanila. And firms have a moral responsibility to larger society. So green management and sustainability. The recognition of the close link between an organization's decision and activities and its impact on the natural environment. So global environmental problems facing managers includes air, water, and soil pollution from toxic waste, global warming from greenhouse gas emissions, and natural resource depletion. So basically, in the global management and sustainability, the focus is to help the organization to in its decision and activities on and how do they impact the environment in general. So we all know that industrial companies or those companies that are using factories and energy are a great contributors to the greenhouse effect in the in our planet. So basically, in the green management and sustainability approach, the recognition of the management that the organization's behavior or through its decisions and activities has an impact to the natural environment. So yung mga nagiging problema daw ng global environment na tinitingnan ng management includes yung pollution, which includes air and water and soil pollution from their toxic waste, and global warming from greenhouse gas emissions. So how organizations go green? So there are four approaches of how organizations are going green. So when we say green, it states na yung they are now pro-environment. So for legal approach, as what we have said before, it is just for legal compliance. So kung ano lang yung nire-require ng mga laws and regulations of our society, yun yung kino-comply natin. No less, no more. So kung ano lang yung require, yun lang yung kino-comply natin. So we also have the market approach, which firms respond to the preferences of their customers for environmentally friendly products. So when we apply the market approach, we are saying that our compliance to the environmental demands of our customers, because there are customers of course that are pro environment and they will prefer organizations or businesses that is also pro environment. Like there is an instance that if a company has a legal or an environmental issue, there is a big tendency that customers will going to uh, lessen or decrease their demand in buying your product. So basically, in the market approach, the demand for the organization to go green is coming from the market itself. We also have the stakeholder approach, which firms work to meet the environmental demands of multiple stakeholders, including employees, suppliers, and the community. So, in the stakeholder approach, when we say stakeholders, they are those people that has an effect or being affected by the organization. So it includes employees, suppliers, and the community. So in the stakeholder approach, basically, the demand of the multiple stakeholders gives uh, or or is the one giving pressure to the management on becoming pro environment and going green. And we have lastly activist approach, which firms look for ways to respect and preserve environment and be actively socially responsible. In the activist approach, it is more likely of their own willingness or their own uh, on their own decision to look for ways on how are they going to respect and preserve the environment. So in this approach, basically, there is no pressure from any uh, from any individuals, but basically the pressure is coming from themselves as the management, because they view that they already have an understanding that organization going green is already needed in our country and into the so management and ethical behavior. So, managerial ethics is a set of principles and rules dictated by upper management that define what is right and what is wrong in an organization. So, basically, the managerial ethics now is um, more of the set of principles or the rules or the standards being set by upper management to the entire management team on how that these define what is right and what is wrong in an organization. So basically, managerial ethics is telling the lower maybe management of what is good and what should not be done in the organization in general. So a code of ethics is a guide of principles designed to help professionals conduct business honestly and with integrity. A code of ethics document may outline the mission and values of the business or organization, how professionals are supposed to approach problems, the ethical principles based on the organization's core values and the standards to which the professional is held. So basically, the code of ethics is a common document or a guide for each individual on doing on helping them understand or knowing their limit of what could be done, what can be done, and what should not be done in the organization as to preserve their honesty and their integrity. So code of ethics is very important in an organization so that you have the standards set to your management and to your employees on what can be done and what cannot be done within the organization. So there are four views of ethics in an organization which we are going to discuss one by one. We have the first utilitarian view, which wherein ethical decisions are made solely on the basis of their outcomes or consequences, such that the greatest good is provided for the greatest number. And this encourages efficiency and productivity and is consistent with the goal of profit maximization. So the utilitarian view, from the word utilitarian or utilities, it is made solely on the basis of their outcomes or consequences. So ethical decisions in utilitarian view are that made based on the outcomes of their behavior. And they also believe that the greatest good is provided for the greatest number. So this view is encouraging efficiency and productivity within the organization and consistent with the goal of profit maximization. So the goal of this view is more of being consistent with the company's or the organization's goal of maximizing profit or getting the most profit from uh, a certain decision or a certain deal within an organization. The second view action of ethics is the rights view, which is concerned with respecting and protecting individual liberties and privacy. This also seeks to protect individual rights of conscience, free speech, life and safety, and due process. So in the rights view, the concern is now more of respecting and protecting the liberties and privacy of an individual. So the rights view is more of the rights of a person or an individual in doing or protecting their conscience, the right of conscience, their free speech, life and safety, and due process. So, rights is a very broad term kung wherein we need to identify and we need to determine what are the rights and the responsibilities of an individual. So here, in this source, it says that the uh, primary or very important rights of an individual includes their conscience, free speech, life and safety, and due process. So another theory is the theory of justice. So another theory is the theory of justice view, which states that organizational rules are enforced fairly and impartially and follow all legal rules and regulations. So in this theory, organizational rules are enforced fairly and impartially and follow all legal rules and regulations. So this theory of justice view also protects the interests of stakeholders and the rights of employees. So basically in this view, they are now more focused on the theory of justice or what are the legal rules and regulations that the organization are forced to fairly and impartially uh, implement within the organization. So, in this theory of justice, this protects the interests of stakeholders and the rights of employee. So, in the integrative social contracts theory, ethical decisions should be based on existing ethical norms in industries and communities in order to determine what constitutes right and wrong. So, based on integration of the general social contract and the specific contract between community members, so this theory is more focused on the existing ethical norms in industries and communities. So they adapt what is the ethical standards or ethical actions within their industry. So for example, in our school in Holy Child, they they have their own set of standards, but also they also have looking in general the standards set by the education industry, by DepEd, by CHED, and all regulating industry implementors in the education industry. So ethical leadership. Managers must provide a good role model within the organization, syempre, because employees look to their management or to their managers. So they should be the role model of uh, the employees within an organization. So how can they provide a good role model? So this includes being ethical and honest at all times, telling truth, don't hide or manipulate information, admitting failure and not trying to cover it up, communicating shared ethical values to employees through symbols, stories, and slogans, rewarding employees who behave ethically and punish those who do not, protecting whistleblowers who bring to light unethical behaviors or raise ethical issues. So in this slide, it answer or it gives the steps on how managers can improve ethical behavior in an organization. So of course, as we have said in our previous lessons, it is the management's role on having on making their employees do what they want them to do. So how can managers improve ethical behavior? So they can hire individuals with high ethical standards, establish codes of ethics and decision rules, lead by example, set realistic job goals and include ethics in performance appraisals, provide ethics training, conduct independent social audits, and provide support for individuals facing ethical dilemmas. And lastly, the value of ethics training. So, of course, training is very important, as what we have said before, in enhancing the capability of each individual, or to give them a medium how to they understand more about the certain topics or the certain uh, things within our organization. So, how valuable is ethics training? So here it states that the value of ethics training can make a difference in ethical behaviors. It also can increase employee awareness of ethical issues in business decisions, clarifies and reinforces the organization's standard of conduct, helps employees become more confident that they will have the organization's support when taking unpopular but ethically correct stances. So basically, that is the scope of our lesson, and that will be the last lesson which will be included in our midterms examination. Thank you.